The podcast that you're about to listen to does not care about your emotions, your hypersensitivity, or your political correctness. If you wish to continue, then
Shut up and sit down.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy John Brown come for you? Tell me what you wanna do, what you gonna do? Yeah, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool? If you get hot, then you must get cool. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the A5 podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Frank, a.k.a. PJ. Joining me is John,
what up?
Jonah,
What's good, cuz?
and Fabian.
What's happening?
We've got an interesting topic for you today. We're going to keep it really straightforward and sweet. It might get a little hot. I mean, quite honestly, I'm kind of hoping it does. We're going to find out. Recently, we've been actually talking amongst ourselves, which is kind of what provoked it, in terms of stereotypes. Every race, culture, whatever title you want to put, seems to have their own, right? Fabian actually mentioned something real interesting to me, in terms of the way he worded it, at least, was perpetual blackness. You want
Habitual.
habitual blackness? Oh, habitual. I'm sorry, habitual blackness. You want to enlighten the people then, because obviously I'm off. Go ahead.
Habitual blackness. What happened? There's something this weekend, right? I forgot exactly what it was, the context of the conversation.
I remember what triggered it. I could help you there.
Yeah, what's your
We were watching one of our friends walk across the parking lot. We were down at a resort, and this friend of ours is black, and we saw him walking across the parking lot barefoot with the towel strapped or draped over his shoulders, trying to holler at his friends that were showing up. And it kind of reminded us of a black guy leaving the community pool.
Oh man, black people are funny.
Like, not, and you know, there was a lot of white people around, and we didn't see any of them doing that. But my man was straight thugging it, not just like across a driveway, but across a parking lot. Rocks, everything,
Yeah.
like nothing. And
We tend not to care, about certain things.
but nah, man. But it was. I've seen black people leaving the beach like that. I've seen black people leaving the pool like that.
To even find black people at the beach is kind of hard. Like, I hate the beach personally. I mean, we go.
Y'all like to wade in the water though, like on the close shore. Like, y'all don't go in.
Yeah, I did that one time because I can swim. Like, I'm one of the few like black people that swim. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, which is one of the craziest fucking stereotypes because most of the black people I know can swim, which is insane, right? But I went out. I was in Puerto Rico, and I went out too far, and I was like being brought out by the time I was in San Juan and one of the beaches there. That shit was bringing me dumb far. Like, I was like getting afraid and shit. So we go out further, but then we realize this is how white people die in movies, and I don't want to go out that way. Like, I don't want no helicopters looking for me while I'm on like a raft.
You don't want Jaws coming after you?
Yeah,
and shit?
no, we don't play those games. We die because somebody else set us up to die, not because of our own negligence. At least not in movies.
The whole thing, once that was mentioned, sparked an interesting conversation. And like Fabian actually posted in our group chat an article about a morgue worker who was arrested after giving birth to a dead man's baby. Now, just upon reading the title, none of us seemed to be surprised that it was a white woman on on the cover, and we automatically assumed that the guy was dead.
No, we didn't assume it was dead.
No, he was dead.
dead.
I just assumed that before I even seen the picture in the article that it was a white.
It was a white person
Right, the guy
what I
was dead,
assumed.
but did she have sex with him
while he was
while
dead.
he was
I'm
dead?
gonna say.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna say yeah.
Yes.
I think that
Wait,
was.
what did the article
Did you
say?
read? Did you read the article?
I did not read the
I
article.
read
That's
the
what I'm
article.
asking.
I read the article. There was oh man, I don't know if it was what was it? Ohio was it that she was from?
I did
Surprised
not
it's
read the
fucking
article.
Florida.
One of those.
I
Cousins,
think it was.
one of those cousins.
Did you say what? You're surprised it wasn't Florida?
Yeah, you know how they
Nah.
do that.
No, dude, Florida's the worst.
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
all
yeah.
the crazy shit.
Oh man.
So it was. I believe it was in Ohio, and they were building. I don't know if it was the state or the whatever county that she lived in Ohio was building a case for it, or if it was the FBI. But some law enforcement was building a case on her, and apparently she's had sex with 50 or 59 dead people.
Oh jeez.
And-
Isn't that
and-
called
and-
necrophilia? That's
Yeah,
necrophilia.
yeah,
That's exactly what
That's
she's.
necrophilia.
That's
That's exactly what they were
Which
saying.
is a
'cause-
crime.
No, actually, it's not a crime.
Not a crime.
It's not a crime. You cannot, according to the article, you can't get charged for fucking a dead body.
What?
But they're charging her for damn, I forget the word, man. Frank, if you don't mind opening it up just to get what the charges are. But they're not charging her for necrophilia. But she's fucked a few of them, which is what led them to open the case and then be able to DNA test the baby that she had to make sure to see if it was this guy. Now, the guy who she had the baby of
Mhm.
was from a completely different state, who was a veterinarian, who was from a completely different state, who just so happened to be driving by the specific state that she lives in and got into a really bad car accident and died. So there was no way in hell that these two people would have known each other.
It says that
Wow.
she sexually abused more than 60 other dead bodies
Oh, I was off by one.
belonging to males aged from 17 to 71.
How do you abuse
Hey,
a body
I got a
that's
question.
dead?
I got a question.
That was my initial thought, actually.
Yo, I got a question. Is she a pedophile for fucking a 17-year-old? He's dead.
I mean, I think
I'll definitely look at.
I
you
think her
different.
problems go
That's
way
for
past
sure.
That's why you would look at her different?
Yeah, no, I think
Because
her,
he was 17, not because he was dead?
her problems go way past pedophilia.
Listen, people got some
Like,
weird
try
shit.
fucking the living first, and then we'll get into pedophilia. Like, you're not fucking people that are alive. Not even like fucked up. At least, I mean, hey, at least a 17 is a live human being, and
Yeah.
almost an adult. Like a dead person is a little different to me. Like, it's already cold. Like, how does the dick get hard? How do you?
How is he still?
How do you
nutting?
ejaculate a man that
was
cannot
the
get
question
excited?
I had.
I mean, I feel like I still nut after death too. I don't know.
Oh, that's a real nigga. That's a real nigga.
So,
I'll still be getting it in.
so because necrophilia is not a crime, Jonah was
Right.
actually very right about that, which is off.
Wait, pause. What you trying to say? Nigga ain't smart?
No,
I read the article.
What's off about it is that it's not a crime. That's
Wow,
what he was
how
saying.
you took that as an insult? Wow, sensitive a little today.
Oh.
Well,
No,
I
I
guess no
just-
response. I guess no response is consent.
I guess it was the way you did it.
No response is
Mer-
consent.
Yeah, I
Mercury
guess
must
that's
be
what
in
they're saying.
retrograde.
I give you, she's facing a total of 158 charges, including indecent treatment
That's
of
the
a
word I was looking
corpse,
for.
disorderly
So
conduct,
you can fuck a corpse as long as you treat it decently.
and
So should I give it a?
Do you
sit
give it
upright,
chocolate and
give it a glass of
flowers?
wine?
indecent
Yeah, you romance the corpse.
indecent exposure and possession of illegal drugs.
Indecent exposure to whom? The corpse?
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe she injected the corpse with something.
Listen, they charged
Like,
her.
to get it-
they
to get
charged.
it-
They charged that white woman that shit just because they fucking had to figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the point is, what we really want to get into is, right?
White people do the
Why is
craziest
white
shit.
people always doing this shit? White people must be stopped. I'm sorry. Y'all go too far, man. I read like 3 articles a day.
What do you mean by white people must be stopped?
Not in like
that
not
sounded on some
not
like,
in a like a genocide kind of
That's
way.
definitely how that came across. Like
Even though that's probably
Disclaimer,
naturally
I have
happening.
no part of genocide.
Well, their
People,
genocide is
sorry.
happening naturally, not on purpose. By 2040, they'll be the minority here.
Yes.
That's why all these abortion laws in red states are going so white women can keep having babies. Anyway,
Yes.
Sidebar.
Wrong.
You
Yes.
laugh, but
It's
all
true.
All right.
Oh man.
Anyway,
I agree. I
forgot,
agree
where
with
we
you.
going
Wait,
with
but
this?
I don't get. But yeah, wait, with this. All right, slight tangent. With the same acts, Black Hispanics can continue having babies also. So I don't understand.
I
that
understand, but you have to look at the populations of the.
argument. You mean they want to force their own kind to have babies? Is that,
I think that they don't want their own kind of killing babies.
Right.
right. That so
not
they're trying to stop their own kind since Spanish people and Black people clearly have too much time on their hands and continue having babies. So it's not
And
about
by
them.
2040, the largest population in this country will be Spanish people. Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure because motherfuckers don't know how to stop.
Yeah, and again, the fear is becoming the minority when you're the majority.
Right. So that's my point. So you're
So
saying
to
that they're
stop-
trying to force their kind to have babies.
I think they're trying to slow down the rate of babies being born from both races. They're trying to increase the rate of whites and trying to decrease the rate
How
of
will
colors.
they decrease the rate of colors though?
I mean,
Abortions in the hood.
Yeah.
But that's from completely two different sides of
Wait,
no.
I
I think
I
both
don't
the
get
the red and the blue work together, bro. Don't think that they don't. Left and right, they work together, man.
Yeah, in certain
Don't believe
parts
the
of
bullshit.
politics.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah. When you get to Washington politics, yeah.
Listen, you can't have
they
you
together
cannot
on
have a
that.
one world government if everybody don't get along, right? And you
No.
are a believer of they're trying to do a one world government, so that means left and right. That means blue and red. That's not just one. That's both. Everybody got to agree
No,
for
no,
that.
but you
That
still- but
argument
you-
just doesn't make sense to me, though. That you're trying to decrease one and increase the other when it's you're not.
They're not.
you're
They're not.
They
They're
can
not trying
do-
to, they're not trying to increase any. They're trying to maintain.
Right.
Is what they're trying to do.
They're
Right.
trying to force their own kind to have babies. That's my point.
They're trying to
Not
force
for-
their own kind to keep them.
Right, yeah. It's not forcing to have them, but if you have them, you can. I don't want you to abort them because we're already running out.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like inventory at the supermarket.
But that's how they're
I
being
mean,
looked at. That's how they're
Can I
being.
get a white skin, blue eyed, blonde hair baby, please?
Listen, yo, that's how they're being looked at, bro. I mean,
Yo, I need to hear your point, bro, because you
It's
was
mad
about to go
it's just-
in.
Fa-
it just so
baby is
happens
looking
that
at
it's-
this mic hard.
it's mad red
Wait,
states,
hold on, all right,
and
shut
the
up,
ones that are affecting
John,
the
shut
white
up. I
people.
want to hear what Fabian has to say. I feel like he's locked and loaded.
I just find it very ironic that we're talking about that when another group of people have been advocating to eliminate babies, especially ones that look at us for the longest time in the name and guise of rights. But back then, it was strictly, it was Margaret Sanger who started the whole Planned Parenthood clinics, which don't get me wrong, nowadays they do more than just freaking abortions and do a lot of health services and everything for everybody, which I think is also very important. But we can't forget the history of it, which
Of
the
what?
purpose of it behind them was to actually
Well-
euthanize the mulattoes and the people that they found.
The idea where they fucked up in the first place was trying
pure
to
of race.
give us brown people Planned Parenthood instead of trying to take it away from white people first. Because again, Planned Parenthood did not work for the brown community. We fucked our ways into the majority. No,
Yeah,
Right?
like I said, we
I
don't
mean,
know
I
how
got
to
five.
stop.
What'd you
I got
say?
5 siblings.
Mm.
Planned Parenthood didn't work, but for no. So whatever,
No, that's because
whatever they thought was going to work for Planned Parenthood, whether it was the Democrats or Republicans, whatever they thought was going to work didn't.
It did.
So now, no, it didn't.
No. Killed too many fucking 2 million black
And
black
yet,
babies. in
and
the
yet,
past
the
10 years.
Browns are still about to take
But
over.
but
so
hold on a
how
second.
well did it work?
No, it
Hold
would
on
have
a
been. It
second.
would have been that much faster.
Yeah,
that
and so
much
now the
quicker.
solution is has nothing to do. It's preserve our own.
But I guess did it work is really arguable because
It backfired.
not necessarily what Fabian is saying is that it was slowed.
Dwarf
It didn't
process as
stop.
much as
It was
possible.
slowed because you know what? One of the stereotypes about our country, about our
Community.
communities, our race, right, is we pop out babies. John just said he has 5 siblings. He has 4 kids of his own.
right.
Damn straight.
You know, we don't know how to
We
stop.
fucking y'all out of
I think that's
existence.
what Fabian's
Goddamn
saying.
it.
That has been the mode of that side of the freaking political spectrum for a long time. Because at one time, the deep racist South and shit, them fucking hardcore left wingers are freaking hoses and fire hoses, blatant racism and freaking killing and lynchings. And then they said, you know what? We can't really stop this process. We're continuing to look like the bad guys. How can we fucking control this? I know. Let's appear to them as a friend. At least this way we can control them.
Listen,
Welfare
Look.
system, all that shit. Let's keep them under freaking.
the sheriff
keep 'em
got
kinda-
tired of his daughter bringing Jamal home for the prom. I swear to God. Your little backwater town sheriff got tired of seeing
Was
niggas
that a
on his porch.
stereotypical black
I don't
name?
give a fuck what it was. Call it what you is. But
Jamal?
Yep, Jamal, nigga, or
Jerome.
Jerome, Leroy. I got them all. Listen, he don't want that. He don't want that little nigger boy coming to court his daughter no more, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm telling you,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, and so they're trying to preserve. This is why you see them trying to take women's rights away, right? They ain't taking black women. They don't do this shit in blue states, right? Population's gonna keep increasing despite what you think. Look at New York State. Look at New York State.
But if you
Look at New York City. This is a blue state. New York City is a blue city, but it's all minorities. So whatever plan that they had to slow us down clearly didn't work.
It's not even just slow us
Now
down.
they pushing us out because they can't do it physically. Now they pushing us out economically. That's how you get us out.
No, they're trying to keep you in the areas that you are economically.
They don't want us
keep
here.
them in the hood.
They don't want brown people in New York. What are you talking
elaborate
about?
on that. How do you? What makes you think they're trying to keep you in your area?
They don't want us here.
Listen, they've been saying this for the longest time. Whether it's the education system, you give them just enough to survive, especially people who are impoverished. You only give them a little bit to actually freaking do anything and operate, just basic life necessities, right? So now you're in control. That's why I'm a big proponent against universal health care, because now they control your health care, now they control your food, now they control your housing, and everybody's okay with it because they just see it as fucking free. But the people that are going to be affected by it the most are people that look like you and me.
Right.
Because we don't have the freedom to operate and do what the fuck we want to do.
I think that's bullshit. I think that this is all scare tactics.
Control.
I just think that we're
Wait. What part of scare tactics?
all of it. I think that sitting here thinking, well, this is how they're controlling us. Like people, you know that there are people who really need those things. You know that the people that are on welfare are working people. Like, don't believe the Fox News bullshit.
Nobody's saying that.
Don't believe the hype train.
I kind of agree. I agree with Fabian on this,
lot
man.
of
I do
people
agree with Fabian on
There's
this.
people that have needed help.
If you don't want people,
and they have no problem with that.
if you don't want people on welfare, if you don't want people dependent, you want people to help themselves, then pay them a fucking living wage. How about that? How about having a mandatory minimum $15 for minimum wage across the country? Not just in New York State, right?
I agree
you
with
want
that
people
too.
to pull them up themselves up by their bootstraps, but don't give them fucking bootstraps or boots to pull themselves up. Do you know there are still places in this country that still pay you like $8? Like seriously, I was down south for all of them years. The most that somebody paid me was $10.25, and this was in 2014 or 15. They would not pay me more than no matter what job I was doing, right? The thing is, the wages do not increase with everything else. So if you don't want people on welfare, you don't want Walmart workers that can't afford to feed their families, you don't want them on welfare, then pay them more. Walmart, then tax these companies and force the money to come, right? I don't want to hear about welfare and how people are abusing shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it when, again, these companies rape the American people and we get nothing back for it. Ask an Amazon worker how much they get paid. Ask a Walmart worker how much they get paid. You have a good job, but most people don't have your job.
But that's because I have to fucking find a way to get in there to get there. We all work
He
at
worked to
McDonald's.
that good
We all
job,
worked
though.
our way to get to
All
where we
right,
are.
up to that
how
good
many
job.
spots are there at your job?
Oh no, it's freaking
So that means not everybody can have a job like that.
Exactly, no, because
somebody has to work at McDonald's.
and then somebody, yeah. Guess what? There's a lot of people that work at McDonald's that still aren't there,
Right,
Except for our boy Manuel.
the wage
But-
gap between what you make and a Walmart worker make is there's room in there.
Exactly, because we're talking about
man.
a
But
different
there was-
company.
there was- I mean,
There's
there
a
was
specific
education in
job
between
and
all that.
trade. There's a specific.
That's bullshit to me.
There's a specific.
What's the
skill
like?
set
I'm not talking
that you
about that. I'm
need.
talking about Walmart world. Like, what's the operating cost for Walmart? You are $1 trillion company. You telling me that the most you can pay people is $12 an hour?
No, but
fuck out of here.
That's that. Now we're talking
All right,
about
so
two separate
let
things.
me
We're
Now
talking
that's
about
corporate greed.
We're talking about
That
greed.
welfare is not the problem. The greed in this country by corporations who don't have to pay anything is the problem. I wouldn't need
There's
welfare
greed
if
on
I
both
got.
sides of it, though. There's
I
government
wouldn't
greed
need
and there's corporate
welfare.
greed,
I
and
wouldn't-
You're picking one evil for the other.
Listen, I wouldn't need welfare. I wouldn't qualify for welfare if I made a certain amount of money.
Correct.
So maybe if I get paid more for whatever job I'm doing because this country makes more than all these corporations, McDonald's makes more money. Oh, I don't want somebody flipping my burgers make $15 an hour. Why the fuck do you care?
Oh, I don't
They can afford it.
No, I don't care if they can afford it or not. They can get paid $20. I don't care.
That's
It's
my
about
point.
the job itself. If that's what you pay.
No,
for
it's
that
not
job,
about the.
because I know-
all right, so if they getting paid 20, you deserve to get paid 100. My point is, give me a living wage, and then you don't have to worry about my child,
I'm
me
doing
being on
some
welfare.
and if I'm doing some shit that actually is like, oh, I'm paying $25 an hour to freaking be an accountant, but meanwhile I can get paid 20 and do half the freaking work and not even do all the school. Fuck yeah,
Yeah,
go to the
all
job.
right.
I don't care what it
Accountants
is.
need to get
but
paid
it's-
more.
It's about the skill
Ding,
set.
ding, ding.
It's about the skill set of the job.
Ding, ding, ding. Damn.
that's bullshit.
These bottles did not make the noise
You should
that
be
I
able to
thought they would.
survive no matter
Listen.
what job you choose.
All right, but
because the corporate, unless it's a small business, if you work for a Fortune 500 company, you should not be on welfare.
Here-
guess
here-
what?
Period.
Here's my question, though. Here's my question. Let me woosah for half a
Wait.
second. Actually, I like the heat, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I've been trying to get this off for a little bit.
All right,
so
all
I
right,
didn't
all
want
right,
it-
all right, fuck it,
Yo,
fuck it.
there's nothing wrong with welfare. There's nothing wrong with welfare. Everybody.
There's a lot wrong with
No.
welfare.
No. There's nothing wrong with welfare.
It's
There
like
should
half
there
and
should
half.
be
It's-
there should be a limit to the welfare.
So then there's a problem wrong.
But
with
there is a
welfare.
limit.
What I'm saying,
'Cause
what
there
I'm
is
saying,
no limit.
What
The
I'm saying-
average, you can
What
look
I'm
this
saying
up. This
is-
is
hold on a
number. The
second.
average income food stamps that people get is $132 a month.
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
How is that abuse?
welfare should be, listen, and I don't know so much about it. Maybe you guys can correct me on this. Welfare should be you get your assistance, but we need to come up with a plan or something like that for you to come off of this. Right?
Uh-huh.
That and if that's the case, and welfare is a good thing. Like people should. There are people who do need help.
Exactly.
There are people that do need the help, and I do agree that these Fortune 500 companies should not be paying people $10, $8, $12 an hour. They should not. You guys these Fortune 500 companies make a shit ton of money, profit a shit ton as well.
Sure do.
Your expenses should not be fucking outweighing your gains.
Right.
So you should be paying taxes on that money as well.
Absolutely.
Like you should have enough money to be paying these people $15, $20 an hour. At the same time, though, at the same time, and maybe this is just a bad thing about me and my perception of what's the value of what work is. At the same time, though, I feel like for bagging some groceries, no, you shouldn't be paid $20 an hour.
What if that's all I'm good enough to do? What if, because not every, you take for what you have for granted. You understand your intelligence, your drive, your motivations. We all take these things as everybody has them. And so I have it and you don't have it, so you don't deserve nothing in life because I have more of it. Then that's not how this works. Somebody who's disabled, who just physically can't do the jobs that Fabian do. He can't get a big ass drill and drill into the ground.
Yes.
Right? If he's disabled, so what does that mean? So it's his disability checks, but when he works, what is he gonna get paid? Because bagging groceries is all he's able to do. Me, right? I don't have a college education. The only thing I could do is like manual labor shit. I got fucking mad slip disc in my back, bro. Everything. I don't mind working, but it hurts. Right? There's nothing else I can do. That's the only thing I'm going to do. And I'm only going to get paid for a certain amount because that's all I'm qualified to do. Not that I can't do more, but my point is you should be able to, if I'm working for a big ass $1 billion steel company, you don't have to pay me $10.25. At that point, that's great. McDonald's still dripping people workers. Like, I'm sorry. Your Big Macs is mad expensive, bro. Why is it that this person, like, how much money? Over 1 billion people serve. All this money y'all raking in, y'all can't spread the wealth. Y'all don't pay taxes and shit. I don't understand this. Where's this money going? Right?
Yeah.
People are poor. Walmart workers.
Yeah.
Walmart is the
You
biggest
also-
corporation on earth. Amazon is the second biggest corporation on earth, and they pay the lowest
You sure?
wages.
I think it's
It might-
I think
it might be
I-
opposite.
I think it's
I
opposite.
think-
Either way, whether it's one or two, y'all still paying the lowest wages. Somebody explain it to me.
Yeah, look,
Because you also have a couple factors involved. I'll tell you what, like when you have a corporation like that and it gets really, really big, you have to look after your stockholders, right? So we understand the investing money and all that stuff and all that, right? That's the main reason why they do it. However, if you think about it, you look at all the employees,
I mean,
right?
at the end of the day, that's really the reason why.
Check this.
Yeah, I know.
All right, check
It's
this out.
greed.
I heard, when I'm not gonna say, but somebody I know, their hourly is $49 an hour, right?
some
They
damn
did
good
the
money.
actual math when it comes to the benefits that the company provides. We could just say mine. With the benefits that the company provides, all the other stuff, health insurance, all that.
Right.
The actual calculation is 200. It's 4 times that they have to put out. They're only getting paid for 49, which is a lot for a lot of us.
The take home.
But
That's the take home side.
And I think it's like quadruple for a lot of these big companies, even these Fortune 500, because they have insurance, they have benefits and stuff like that. So where you actually think, it's only going to be $15 an hour. No, in reality, it's probably costing the company 100 and something to take care of them. But
Those-
I'm not
those-
saying, and I'm not saying that they can't afford it either. But the problem is if you multiply that by all the workers across the fucking country, that shit starts to add up. And then the people right above them supervising, what about me? How this motherfucker? Then you got to increase his wage because this motherfucker's making just very, very.
So
close
then
to
you're
me and have
okay
more
with
responsibilities.
welfare.
And then you keep on going.
You
and
cannot
keep
have
on
it both
going.
ways, Fabian.
Nobody's saying
Then
that.
you're
I'm just trying to
okay with
explain
what?
to you.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just trying to
understand.
explain to you
You're
that,
right.
like, there's a
I
little
get
bit
it,
of a
but
science to
it's
it.
still it's not a science. It's greed.
Here-
I mean, there's a science to the greed, if that's what you mean. But logically speaking, on a humanity level, it doesn't make sense for us to have homeless people. It doesn't make sense for us to have hungry people. It doesn't make sense for us to have poor people. We swing our dick around the world that we're the richest, most successful country, but yet we have such a fucking high rate of
because you're always
agree
gonna
with you,
people.
and I agree with you, and I don't, man.
because
I
you
mean,
always, sorry.
you
You listen. You ain't
You're
gotta agree. I
always
just
gonna
don't
have your
understand
haves
this
and
shit.
your have-nots.
I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
no, because you know what, it's one thing to say that you're not a person, maybe not be capable of something or doesn't have the knowledge, the background, whatever, the wherewithal to be able to do. And yes, those people who are not as capable or for whatever reason, whatever, yeah, all right, yeah, they do deserve to be able to survive. I don't take that away. But then realistically, you have a hell of a lot of people who just don't give a fuck. And no, fuck them. I'm not going to take care of them.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not.
It's not about taking care of them. It's just that you listen to these online fucking like speakers, right? And they tell you all the good shit. Like, dude, everybody can't be a boss. Some niggas gotta just
You're
pump
right.
the
Of
gas.
You're right, but some
And
people
those
don't
niggas-
even want to do that, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
my issue.
I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people that just want to pump the gas. That just want to flip the burger.
that are happy pushing the cart. I get it.
Yeah, that are happy
get it.
pushing the cart. They still deserve a living wage. Not they need to be able to pay their rent and eat and get around on their checks because your company
All right.
makes that much money.
But all right, here's my opposing view to that though is now you have to adjust your lifestyle accordingly then. Because you know what? You're not going to do that and then live in a $200,000 house. That shit don't work. Shit is it's
relative.
Dude.
Shit is relative and one
Bruh,
correlates
bruh.
to the other.
Listen,
Add $2 to anybody's fucking rate and watch how your shit change.
but
I mean, add $2 an hour to not a business owner, not somebody who owns a shop.
You know what? To be honest, I really don't think it would make that much of a difference.
Dude,
I really
Taxes,
don't.
taxes will eat
Bruh,
that.
I got
I'm gonna
an
tell you,
interesting
going
number I wanna
from
throw
going
out.
from 10 to 12 or 12 to 14, that shit makes a difference.
I-
I'm going to tell you personally.
Well, yeah, but taxes will eat like half of that $2
Bruh,
raise.
even if it eats half of it, every dollar counts. You don't understand how poor people really are. Like people are
I
super,
get it.
super poor.
Would you
I
guys
get
have
it.
I
one
just want to
quick
get this out real quick. Maybe it's fodder. I don't know. So when I looked up, about the government assistance programs, and according to wellkeptwallet.com, 38.9% of food stamp recipients were white. Which was the most.
Of course.
24.9 were African American.
Okay.
11.8 were Hispanic, 2.8% were
Asian.
Asian, and 1.1 were
Indian.
Native American. Yep. 12.8% did not disclose their race or ethnic identity. This was back in 2016. So, I mean, more than likely, it's really not too far off now. Right. So I just needed to throw
No,
that out there
I
because
get
there
it.
is the stigma in our
There's a lot
country.
of stories that come out from those numbers too.
And you guys gotta understand this. It's like the one thing that I look at, and I understand that people aren't capable of doing a certain thing when they're in a certain position because maybe I'll put it to you this way: all our parents, maybe besides John, because John's probably the oldest of the generation. His family, his ancestors,
My
slaves
parents,
here.
my parents are in their 70s.
Yeah, they're working for fucking free here in the fucked up part of our country.
Yeah.
However, fucked up time in our country. But our parents, right? They came here and they had to work those bullshit jobs. They weren't like, oh, I need this. I need to freaking be living at a certain wage. I need to be at a certain position. No, they came here. They know they're in a new country. They have barriers. They have language barriers. They have racial barriers.
They put their
'Cause
head
they're
down
what
and did
are
what they
these
had to
freaking Spicks
do.
doing over here, trying to work these fucking jobs.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But guess,
I think,
but guess
I
what?
think because it has
They
a lot to
build
do
it up.
with it.
They work it up, and now his grandmother,
Because
great
knowing
grandmother
his-
brought him, and she did a little bit better.
I know,
and
knowing
then he-
historically that
and
you
now he's a
even
fucking
had the
business owner.
opportunity, knowing historically that at some point you had the freedom, your ancestors had the freedom to come here and free for however much, freely had the choice to make money and establish something for their future generations.
Mhm.
It's a huge difference between our cultures. Like it don't seem like we look alike, we talk alike, we are very much alike. But when you go back down them lines, it's a whole different ball game. When you talk about people coming here from the islands as opposed to slaves that was here already, at least y'all had the option. Your family had the option to come here and work and actually accrue income. That didn't happen for black people until about 120 years ago, probably less than that. You understand? This
Well,
is a country that's 500 years old.
Theoretically, wouldn't it have been less than that for our families? Because
No,
if
because-
you were here first, then you would have gotten the rights first. Then for us to come over, we would come after you, which means that you had a
no,
head start.
because again, even blacks were behind Spanish people and Asians and Irish people. Like we were the bottom of the totem pole. Like there's a totem pole, there's a hierarchy. We are always at the bottom, and even still at the bottom. Like that's how it works here. So the opportunities that y'all ancestors had are, and even though slavery ended in 1865, it only ended in if your town was cool like that. No, I'm dead ass.
you're
I'm
right.
dead
You're
ass.
right.
too,
It's an
yeah.
interesting way to
You're
put
right.
it.
You know what I'm saying? That shit didn't end. It ended it somewhere I would say in the early 1900s, around 1910, 1920. And even then, there was still lynchings. Even then, I couldn't go to get a drink of water or go to a certain fucking cafe. You know what I'm saying? It was Jim Crow law. So when you look at stuff like that, like most of the percentage of black people and white people, it's crazy because black people only make up 12% of the population in the country, but yet there was 29% on food stamps. And white people is 30%, and they're 30% or something like that, and they're the majority. So it's fucked. The proportions is fucked up. Like the ratio is that the ratio is much more black people by ratio. But the reason behind that, again, I see it's all systemic. I truly believe this.
So what you were saying, it's really not, because if you have 100,000 white people, right, and 38,000 of them essentially, right, would be on food stamps. 39,000 of them would be on food stamps based off the percentage, and you have, I don't know, 20%. 20,000 black people, and a quarter of them, 5,000, are on food stamps. Like, no, it's still a vast majority more of white people that would be on food stamps.
Just by sheer numbers, but by
the percentages too.
By per capita though, like by percentages too.
The
But that's just
ratio
because
is
right, the ratio is still
So
still
for
off.
white folks,
Right,
it doesn't matter
right.
what
Oh, I'm saying, I see
number
what
it
you're saying,
is.
because
it's
it's
still
of
1 to 3 versus
recipients
1 to
were
4.
white.
right,
I got you. Okay.
right, and so it's still
I got
kind of
you. Okay.
disproportionate, and so you have to look at like kind of where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like again, the civil rights movement was in the 60s, bro. Like understand that the Jim Crow laws got eradicated in 1964. That was 19 years before 21 years before I was born. A whole drinking person. That was it. That stood between me and like real slavery racism. Only 20 years. That's insane. Right? And we pretend, the media puts it that like it's so long ago. All this shit is systemic. So when you look at food stamps and this and food stamps and white people, yeah, y'all on food stamps more than us, but that's because there's more of y'all than us. But you have to look at, like, I feel bad because again, your ancestors didn't have to go through certain things. Like I went through a lot.
You can't say that though, John.
Well,
Not-
we did on our own.
dude,
Not in
you
this
can't-
country.
you can't
I'm
say
talking
that.
about financially.
No, you can't.
Because
but
you could have still took your wealth from your old country
Bro,
and came to your
nah,
new country.
that's-
If you
Wait a
if
minute,
you
wait a
want,
minute, wait a minute.
listen.
Wealth?
if
Wait,
you
wait,
had
wait.
it, if
Listen.
you could listen to me, if you
could.
if you had the opportunity to accrue anything, you had to have money to move here. First of all, you had to have some kind of dollars.
No, listen.
Not the Cubans, they just rode on a boat.
Listen, I'm not.
Sometimes
I'm
Yeah,
not disagreeing
where's the?
with you.
Well, my point is, where's the blacks going on their
Elian
boat to
Gonzalez,
go
bro.
for their freedom
John, look, I'm
to
not.
go make a better life?
I'm
it
not
was supposed to be here.
John, listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. However, what I disagree with is you can't say that our ancestors didn't go through the same thing
Well,
because
we share ancestors. So.
well, I mean, you and I do.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
Shots
Listen,
fired.
I'm
Please.
talking about like Spanish
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Hispanics as a whole. You can't say that our ancestors haven't gone through that or didn't go through that, because you got to remember, slavery was not just here in America. Slavery for anybody of
Bruh.
color was like all over the world.
American slavery is very unique, right? It wasn't supposed to be that way. It was supposed to be not chattel, like indentured. So I gave you a couple of years, you let me go. It was never supposed to be like that. It was 400 years of chattel slavery, right? You couldn't come, you couldn't go. If somebody was oppressed in another on an island, you could get on your boat and come to America for a better life. You know, once even the slaves was freed. Black people had no. Where there is no. The best we got is Canada. That's the only place we could really go to actually.
What about
experience.
so? What about?
So it was a different experience for our ancestors. It was a different.
No.
If my ancestors was here the whole time, right, and still never really experienced freedom, never got to the top of the totem pole.
Oh my God! What is the?
It's a little different. It's not the same. Because again, you could have came from whatever country that you came from and still accrued a little bit of wealth, kept your humanity, kept your culture, kept all of this stuff.
Johannesburg, I believe that's Africa, right?
Yeah, that's Africa. That's in South Africa.
They just got like their emancipation and all that stuff.
But they've been there the whole time. They still have. They're Africans. That country is theirs. White people came and
enslaved them.
Yes, but we are
the same thing that happened here.
Yes, but we are in a foreign land. There is no escape. Again, if somebody
wait, what do you mean we are in a foreign land?
Black people are not from here. If I'm in South Africa, I'm already in Africa. Whether whites came and colonized,
but that's not true either, because blacks were here.
This wasn't our country. Blacks were brought here. Black people were brought here. Were brought here as slaves. Like that's how this happened. It wasn't.
All right, so you're saying black
people did not stay here
from Africa, because there was black Indians.
That's why
I'm talking about
that's why a lot
African
of black people don't consider that this country is not their country.
It's not. It's not.
But you need, for somebody to say that, you have to have African roots.
I have African roots. What you mean? My ancestors were slaves.
Right. Okay, so you're all right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what's happening here.
I'm coming from just a black in general. Like
no, it's not a black. There's different types of black. American black is a different kind of black than every other kind of black. We are very unique to the black experience. Africans get to stay African, right? Spanish people, even y'all have black in y'all, but y'all have a lot more mixed than we do, right? It's the mix of black.
We're
right,
a different
in this
brown.
country. The blacks that have been here the longest time, you can give all of us a DNA test. Most of us is half white. We're very unique. Even the dark ones, half European. It about 43 to 47%. I got my tests, and I thought I was told I was this, I was that, I was
DNA,
Rebecca got the
DNA
same exact test.
test.
We are not related. Dude, our shit was like 7% difference. All of the countries were the same. Just slightly different percentages from each country. That's all off the western coast of Africa, with Ivory Coast, where the African slave trade was going. This lets me know that a lot of us come from this. It all comes from the same place, man. You're just mixed with different shit. If you was in the islands, it was a different experience. But here in America, oh man, being black here still is hard. It's just not as hard as it was, but it's still hard. So your ancestors, again, coming from another country, having a choice to immigrate, having a choice to immigrate, and being forced is a different experience. Having your culture, whatever came from Puerto Rico, followed y'all to America. Whatever came from Dominican Republic, followed y'all.
Yeah.
Whatever comes from Africa, nothing followed.
Listen, so I just have a problem with the idea that my my slavery is worse than yours.
It was.
No, because there's motherfuckers that are still being persecuted to this day and getting
But
eliminated.
you're not in that country.
You don't have to.
You're not in the country. Wherever your people was
I'm not
enslaved
talking about
at.
my people. My people got enslaved in their own country
I can only speak for mine.
And we just escaped.
I can only speak for mine, sir. And for my people, my people were enslaved here. I still see what my people go through. My people still get shot, right, for no reason. Right? Don't say it don't happen either.
Nobody says it doesn't happen.
It happens.
All I'm saying
right?
is that it's just that there's just not one.
Right.
And there's another group.
But I feel like
read the
black
Bible?
people are
Look at the fucking
old.
Jews.
Like black people are
They've been
really
getting
old
eliminated.
for building this country, and we still get treated
Wait.
like second-class citizens.
Wait a minute.
Yes, we should get extra treatment. You're absolutely fucking right for actually physically building this country.
We are
And I
getting
agree with that. You
way,
guys definitely-
way off topic.
Yeah, I wanted to go there.
No,
Yeah,
this was about stereotypes.
Yeah,
This
well.
ain't about retribution and
ain't saying
who you
reparations, you
are,
mean?
whatever.
You gotta
Fuck
get it right if you're gonna talk about
That's
the
where you
discussion.
want to go. Hey,
Nigga,
you
nigga,
wanted
this
me to
wasn't
not
a
be.
discussion.
You wanted me.
This was about.
You wanted me to not be. You
stereotypes
wanted
of
me
it.
to be live.
He
Well,
wa-
we live.
This nigga wanted to talk about building this country. What the fuck does that have to do with stereotypes? Zero.
Well, people have the stereotype
talking
that
about
they're not doing anything for this country. Meanwhile, they built this country. They say black folks
man,
aren't doing anything good.
I'm talking about.
Yes, again, another stereotype.
I'm talking
That's
about
not true.
stereotypes like how black people like Kool-Aid, not this nigga fucking building the
I thought that was
railroad.
fact.
I mean,
and all this
most
shit.
of the stereotypes attached to black people are all
Oh,
negative.
A lot
Yeah.
are.
Right. So you want to sit here and talk about stereotypes? We're going to sit here and have a negative conversation about black people.
Why the fuck does that have to be all about you? Talk about Chinese. Go ahead. Talk about.
I don't want to
Chinese.
talk
What-
about. I'm not Chinese. I'm black, and we're talking.
You don't
about,
have no Chinese stereotypes.
The eyes go like that.
Their eyes are chinky.
Yeah, that's it. They're super smart. They're usually nice people. Like, no, don't have them.
I don't know what
Yeah.
fucking Asian person you. The Asian people are
Like
rude,
this,
yo.
I,
They're not
haven't.
nice.
I mean, no, I haven't had no,
Chinese people are rude as
No,
fuck, yo.
everybody, if you tall and black, they think you Kobe. I swear to God,
They are. You got because I've
They
been.
think-
I've
They
been
think
to
you're a
certain parts of the
basketball
city,
player.
and
I
they
haven't
just
had
look
too
at
many
you
bad
funny.
experiences.
What's that?
No, you've been to certain parts of the city, and Mei Ling be looking at you like you piece of shit. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, they
Mei
they
Ling.
rude from.
That's
sometimes.
mad
They're
Not-
rude as fuck.
Not
Asian
all of
people are
them,
rude
'cause
as fuck.
I don't know.
I was cool with them.
I guess some of the old school ones. I think it's old people. The old.
Maybe,
generation.
man,
They be
but
looking at you weird.
they're all rude as fuck. I don't care. I mean,
That's just a serious generalization. about a
I'm
whole
gonna
group of
I'm
people.
gonna generalize because every single time I've ever came across an Asian person, they're rude as shit. Even fucking kids, like even people our age. No, listen.
You gotta tell the difference because you got Asians that are Chinese. You got Filipinos who are pretty much like us. They're the fucking.
All right, so Chinese then.
Latinos
All right,
are
So
Uh,
like North Americans are assholes, like
so
Canadians or like Americans.
listen, if your
'cause
eyes
you
are
got the
fucking
other one
chink-
down there.
Yeah.
if your eyes are chinky and you fucking know what ching chong makahaya means,
Oh shit!
then
I heard
yes,
that's some mad offensive shit that you're not supposed to say.
It's
like,
supposedly means fuck you in Chinese.
Yeah.
What?
Ching
fuck
Chong
you.
Micah High.
Ching
You
chong
never.
maka- ching
That's
chong
yo. That,
maka
I
high.
tell you
I'm
one thing.
gonna
That's one
keep
thing
that in
about
mind.
being from. Like I wasn't raised in the city,
Fuck
but
you
my
say?
family
Ching
was.
Chong Waka what?
Ching
You never
chong
heard of that?
makahaya.
Ching Chong Makahaya.
So in the hood, like that's
Yo,
how.
I'ma
That's
say
how.
that to somebody.
No, don't do
Don't
that.
do that.
Because when we grew up, like growing up, like my family, we all from the city and shit. I'm not necessarily from, but I knew about it. Like if you say that to a Chinese person, like usually they fight you. Like,
Yeah.
like this is something you grew up learning. Like
Yeah.
so if you, no, I swear to God.
Ching Chong
If you go, if you go to the
Makahaya.
Bronx,
Makahaya.
you go to a Chinese spot in the Bronx, tell them to fry your wings extra hard, you know what I'm saying? And then tell them ching chong Micah High, nigga, and they're gonna come whoop your ass.
Yes. I
Yo,
wanna see this
my
shit.
nigga, they gonna come fuck you
Yeah,
up.
listen, hold on.
I-
Disclaimer to
That's
that.
like
You
calling
should
it.
have never
Nah,
told
you
me
might
that
as well,
shit.
yeah. Nah,
You
you
should have never said
Yo,
that.
motherfucker.
no,
Fry
hold
my
on.
wings extra hard.
Listen,
Oh,
Ching
man.
Chong Makahaya.
no. Listen. Listen. Right
Listen.
now.
I can't breathe all of a sudden.
Look. Right now.
Chop
nothing,
in your throat.
listen, right now, nothing may happen to you because it's like a known
Well,
thing
we in the
the
future.
hood.
Yeah, we in the
It's like-
future.
but when
But in
I
the
was
past?
a kid,
Yeah, you couldn't
yo,
say that.
we would go to the Chinese store, don't order shit,
Ching chong.
right in front of the door. Yo, and they'll look, ching chong makahaya, boop, book it, and we out of here. And
go.
they'll run outside, son, about to chase
Yeah.
us. You had
Yeah.
to go.
And what does it mean?
I think it means fuck you.
I was told that it meant fuck you.
I'm about to Google
To
that.
That's,
Chinese-
that's
I
a
don't-
lot to say. Fuck you.
I mean, it's Chinese or Mandarin. It's not even Chinese because it's not. Called
Yeah,
Chinese.
Mandarin.
It's
Or you
called-
have Cantonese too. That's not common.
All right,
Yeah,
so
those are two
listen.
main dialects.
So back to the whole stereotype.
Uh,
Yes,
Oh
we
shoot!
said.
Hold up, real quick. I googled it. It's a real fucking thing.
And it came. All right, I want to
Listen.
Google it just to see if I come up with the
Ching
same thing.
chong.
Wait.
I don't know if it's a real word though, but it says ching chong. It's an ethnic slur used to mock people of Chinese ancestry or other agents who may look like Chinese, and an onomatopoeia used to represent Chinese language speech patterns.
What's an onomatopoeia?
you know what? I remember that word in high school, and I
Damn,
forgot what it
somebody-
means.
I feel like that was a spelling bee.
Yeah,
It
no,
was-
those are
it is.
English. I
It's
learned
from
that
an
English
episode of
incredible.
something.
No. All right, look. Damn, Google is the shit though. Like you just start typing and shit
Type,
comes up.
top five.
A formation of a word from a sound associated with what is named.
Oh, who told me that too? I think a teacher told me I think it was my English teacher or something.
No,
Don't ever
it
say shut up-
doesn't really
don't ever
mean
say Shut up
anything.
to West Indian.
It's
or
really
something.
it's really not a thing, but they know
They know what you're trying to say.
They know that we're making fun of them,
Of them.
when we're saying it, and so that's why they chase us.
Okay.
It's not really like we're not really saying shit. It's just that they know. You know what I'm saying? It's like boogity boogie, nigga.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you damn kids. You know what I'm saying?
I like chicken.
Oh, you want
Large piece
burger.
chicken, big piece chicken.
'Cause you know how we make fun of people like Chinese people, like Asian
So
people.
how they
like
make
this.
fun of black people?
You know how they
Like
making fun of
chicken,
Americans, so they
burger.
open
like
their
you
eyes and say, I want burger. Yeah. Oh man, good shit.
Oh,
Yo.
It's good stuff.
that's messed up.
It's fun.
All right, there's what else we got?
I don't know.
You got Islamic. I guess that's obvious, right? In
What?
today's culture,
What?
What?
with the Islamic or Muslim,
Bakalakadakas?
yeah. I mean,
Stereotype to them?
yeah,
Being terrorists and shit?
I mean, pretty much.
I don't like
You
that.
know what
man.
pisses me off?
Can I-
is
can I-
when
can
they
Nah, because
confuse
I
fucking
always made the
Indians
chopped cheese,
with
my nigga.
terrorists.
I ain't associate them with terrorists until 9/11. Like they was
But
always.
no, that's what I'm saying. In today's
Yo,
climate.
can I ask you guys a question? Do you guys know anybody who's Muslim?
Yeah, quite a few
I'm
people.
sure I do. I
They're
usually don't
really,
care,
there's
though.
some really fucking nice people.
cool, enlightened, not trying to kill
Yeah.
Americans.
Yeah.
But apparently, I don't know. I
No,
don't
no,
wanna-
because you got different groups. You got the
I
ones that
know
want to
it's
assimilate
fear.
and like
It's
be
fear. I
part
know you don't
of,
have to say it out loud. It's fear. I
you
know
know,
all
the
of y'all are
society
afraid
and
of
the American
Muslims,
culture.
and that's
But
where it
a
comes
lot of that
from. Like
does
you don't
contradict
want them
their
taking over your
religion.
country.
So then you got the other ones that
Like I
want to
get
stick to
it. Like
Ain't no
fear the
far off than a
Browns.
bunch of hardcore Christians or Catholics trying to freaking
Hardcore
make
Christians.
everybody
Hardcore
what the-
Christians are more dangerous than hardcore anything.
The Crusades.
Explain.
The Crusades.
Bruh, fuck the Crusades. My nigga.
I mean, I don't disagree.
How
but
many
I just want you to
white
explain.
people go in these churches and shoot them up and say that they Christians? Those is all dude, I keep saying
Domestic
this.
terrorism.
Why do we put domestic on it to make ourselves feel better? Fuck domestic. Just terrorism.
Oh yeah, no,
Just terrorism.
I'm
They're
not
terrorists.
disagreeing.
The terrorists that we have been seeing in the past 5 years, count them.
Actually,
It
it's
might-
not even that. Wasn't there a mosque that was recently attacked in another country?
Oh,
Yeah,
that
another country, yeah.
Yep. I forgot where though. It was one of them European
Oh
countries.
man.
Point
Yeah.
is,
And he was a Trump supporter
No,
too.
Yeah,
of
no,
course.
no,
Yeah.
it was-
Oh, that was
No, it wasn't actually.
He
They
wasn't?
found out I was.
that was
Australia.
Austria, Australia, whatever.
He wasn't. He was
Not
the
my
opposite,
point.
but they painted it that way. That's some crazy shit.
Listen,
Wow.
regardless, they painted it. A lot of them are, and even before this, a lot of them are
New
just
Zealand. It was New Zealand.
a
Oh,
lot
New
of
Zealand,
them.
sorry, New Zealand.
A lot
Sorry,
of
guys.
them
Sorry,
aren't
New Zealand.
Muslim people. The people we are afraid of we should be afraid of white men.
Yeah.
We should
I agree
be-
with that.
This country should be afraid. Those are the ones we should be fearful of. Those are the ones going in the Batman movie shooting them up. Those are the ones climbing Las Vegas towers and getting sniper rifles.
Shooting
Those
up
are the
kids.
ones shooting up gay clubs. Well,
Shooting
no,
up
that was
shooting up
somebody
an
else.
elementary
Shooting
school.
up schools, shooting up churches. Dylan Roof about to be put to death.
I don't
No,
know
ain't
about
no. I
that.
don't know about that.
No,
Please.
because that's the only the shit you hear about. There's other stuff when motherfuckers
Oh,
like
man.
that are from other countries that are shooting shit up, but they want to
Fuck
make
the
you
other
think
countries.
that everybody.
What about
I
the country
agree-
you live?
I
Why
agree
are we?
with John.
Why?
Fuck the other
Listen,
countries.
you know
What
what
about
aggravates
us?
me? You know, when we talk about a problem in this country, somebody's always bringing out what somebody's doing in the next fucking country. Why don't we talk about what we're not talking about? What happened in the other country, Fabian?
Nobody's saying that. I'm
But
just
you
saying, no,
literally
they're
just
from
said
a
those
different
words.
ethnicity, but they don't want to mention
No,
it
we're
because they
talking
want to make
about
it seem
here.
like it's
What we're
only white
afraid
folks
of.
killing everybody.
What should we be afraid of in America?
White
I'm
people.
not
white
afraid
men.
of shit.
Yeah.
If you're going to pick, if you're going
I'm not
to
afraid of shit. I got my
Listen.
shit pop off.
And that's not my point. I'm going to profile a white man before I profile a Muslim man in this country. Because by my recollection, by my information, white men commit more crimes and more acts of terror in this country than anybody else. So
Yep.
my fear when I turn on the news is not them niggas in the Middle East that we're fighting. Why am I afraid of them when I can walk into any mall or any school, any church here in America and get killed by a white person? I should be afraid of them.
Time out. Can I digress real quick? Just for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds. With that statement that you just said, why the fuck are you afraid of going to another country then?
Because I mean, at least I'm in America. I don't go to mall. I'm not going nowhere. I'm in my house. Unless a motherfucker want to come shoot up my house, you're not coming to kill me. I stay in the house because I'm afraid of Earth. I'm afraid of people. I'm afraid of environments. I'm afraid of all of that. I am
Okay.
not going. Like I don't do none of it. So you asked me where I wanted to go on the earth. Like I don't want to go nowhere. So we going to South Carolina. I'm terrified. You're laughing.
Why?
Because I'm going to be in the South.
Okay, I get it. All
I
right,
am terrified. I do not want to go. She's making me.
I get
That's
it.
where we at.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in. So
No, you're
yeah, but
right.
I'm
You're
afraid
right.
of white men way more than I'm afraid of Akbar. And nah, I'm not afraid of him.
Yo, you know it's funny you say that, man, because we were
Just-
talking
I'm
about
afraid of
this
Billy.
earlier.
To put context, I don't mean to cut you
Yeah.
off. To put context to what John's saying, between 1982 and February of 2019, so
Right.
this February,
Okay.
when you classify mass shootings by race and ethnicity of the shooter,
Yes.
62 mass shootings were done by white people,
Right.
18 by black, 10 by Latino, 8 Asian, 5 other, 4 unknown, 3 Native American.
What the fuck is an unknown?
Now, but here,
They don't know what the person
Now,
was.
but check this
They
out. You
can't
know, here's
classify
the funny
person.
part.
How
And we,
could
and
you-
we, and we got
So the person's dead or something? Because
Maybe.
Maybe they blew themselves up. They didn't know who the fuck they were.
oh,
Could be.
I'm about to say, yo,
Yeah.
what, we got aliens walking around here, yo, just shooting
And
up
you know what's
places.
funny? Because we're only talking about mass shootings. But guess what? You look in our neighborhoods and shit, who's fucking shooting each other?
Nah.
Miss
no,
me
no,
with
no.
no.
Nah.
No. Look how we change the narrative.
Yo, I'm sorry,
No,
man.
no,
You
no.
see how
Nah,
we
I'm
just
sorry.
changed the
No, I'm
narrative
saying
that
death,
fast?
death. And if
I'm
we're
gonna be with
complaining
John on
about
this.
death,
No.
more death
Nah.
is
Dude,
fucking
you're
done
not
on
going
our
to
end.
Fox News
Nah.
this shit.
No, I'm
You
not
are
talking about Fox.
You don't get
I
to
don't watch
change the
Fox
narrative.
News.
Well,
Yo,
again, dude, again, you'll see a problem, and instead of taking responsibility, you're going to put the onus everywhere else instead of saying it's white men. Say it with your mouth.
I'm just saying death is fucking death. And
No,
you want to
say
say,
it
no,
with
this
your
man
mouth.
is worth
Say it with
that person died.
Say
Nah.
with your mouth that the majority of terror shootings and terror acts are caused by white
Yes,
men.
that's fine.
No,
Yo,
say it. You saying
nobody's
yes,
saying
that's
that.
fine.
Let me tell you something, man. What you just said right there is one thing that I have a problem with. Nothing against nothing. I'm not mad at you for that
Yeah.
or whatever. But I have a problem with that because every time anybody says, yo, white people do crazy shit, everybody always says, yes, but look what's going on in the black community.
Nobody,
Nigga, no.
Yo,
Like,
you
no.
know, and I'm not even. And when it's very simple. It's very.
You always want to, like, white people in this shit always want to fucking pass by saying, hey, look at the black people, though.
No, there
Like,
ain't no
look at
fucking. There ain't no
look at the
fucking.
hood.
There ain't
But
no
the
fucking
niggers
pass.
are doing it worse.
No. There ain't no fucking pass. I'm just saying, where were you preaching that shit about you had problems with people shooting each other, but you waited to white people to do it in mass shootings, but you weren't talking about that 10 years ago.
Nah.
We were doing it to each other.
The-
We
the
were
reason
always
why-
talking about
listen,
it. White
the
people
reason-
are
the reason
always terrorizing
Listen,
people of color.
the reason why
it
we
never
bring it up-
stopped.
the-
Lynchings never stopped.
Yo,
it never stopped. So
the
what are you
reason-
talking about? Where was we?
The reason
Everywhere.
why we make a big
A lot of
deal
people
out-
making a big deal about it today
I'm
aren't
gonna
saying the
tell you
same shit
why.
10 years ago.
Always
I'm
been a
gonna
big
tell you
deal.
why. I'm gonna tell
It's
you why.
always been a big
Because
deal.
right now it's being brought to fucking light, to the forefront. Everybody now is like, look at you motherfuckers. Before
Going
we was
back to
like,
Emmett
wait,
Till.
hold on a second. Before we didn't have the proof. We didn't have cell phones to show these niggas doing the crazy shit. At the news, all we had was the fucking media, the newspapers, and what was straight on
Right.
TV. Now niggas got cell phones. So now everybody's like, yo. Look at you motherfuckers. Look what the fuck you're doing,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Look
but
what
that-
you
but
niggas
that-
is
but-
doing. So their way of covering it is saying, yes, we did that, but look what you niggas is doing.
Right. Right.
No,
and that's
no,
always the rebuttal. Yeah, we
I don't
did
know.
it, but
I
you
don't even
niggas
know.
are
Look what
doing
you-
worse.
yeah, you niggas
niggas
been
are
doing
doing
My
worse.
issues are the hypocrites that were talking that shit about.
But they, black
What
people have
hypocrites?
not been hypocrites. Black people
I'm not
have
talking
been,
about just black people. I'm talking
but,
about everybody.
but you're talking about the hood. You're talking about the hood.
that
Nigga-
includes us too.
Nigga, I'm talking
Everybody
about,
looks like us.
and I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us. We've been saying this for years that white people have been doing crazy shit to us and to themselves.
No.
But we
Yeah.
never had the proof. Now we got proof, and everybody's like, yes, we've been doing it, but
So
you
you-
niggas been doing it for all your entire
No,
life.
wrong. When I'm saying that, it's like to point out to people that all of a sudden want to bitch about the violence on their own kind, but they don't bitch about the violence that they've been doing to themselves fucking 15, 20 years ago
Right.
until now. But they only want to complain
Fabian,
about when
wait,
white
but
folks mass
Fabian
shoot.
has very no. But Fabian has a point.
Death is death. Death of your own
the-
people. If you're concerned about the death of your own people, you can be concerned about where it happens the most,
The-
and that's amongst ourselves.
The
Simple.
amount of energy that gets put into blaming white people for the mass shootings, that yes, it happens. All right,
And it's fucked
white,
up,
white
and
people
it's
are
just-
responsible for the majority of mass shootings. We've proven that.
Yes.
That's not disputed, right? But if that same energy was put into your communities, instead of also pointing the finger at these white people, you will also then bring down the deaths created by yourselves.
But
That's his point.
isn't that a systemic thing though?
Black on black crime
Is it a systemic thing? Nigga, I don't have to sit here and shoot you. That is
Listen.
me. Wait, hold up. That is me. That is of me. That's not the system telling me to shoot you. That is a property of how I was raised and the environment that I was grown up in. And if, as a culture, you don't take responsibility for improving that situation,
Right.
then it's not a system problem. That's a cultural problem. The individual is responsible for the culture that you create. Correct?
Yeah.
So that's where his argument is coming in. Yes, he's not disputing the fact that there are bigger issues that white people are killing other people that
Right.
are responsible for the mass shootings. That's not his dispute. But that same energy that people put into yelling at them and yelling for, well, pay attention to
But
that.
we do.
You don't. It's not. It's,
Because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not true. There are so many advocates. Like, we all think of Black Lives Matter as some kind of like anti-white shit. Dude, they spend most of their time trying to stop gang violence and shit like that. There are so many different factions that are out there in Chicago, in New York, in LA. Dude, Nipsey had
Recently, we just
know.
There are
recently.
so
They
many
should be-
people. Listen to me.
The Bloods
there are
and
so
Crips
many
tied
people that
them-
are the antithesis of what you're saying. That it used to be like that, but Black people starting to wake up. That is no excuse.
Starting.
Okay.
Starting.
So because number
now-
one,
so now-
number
so
one,
now it
no,
becomes
number one,
okay.
you're gonna
now
kill.
it becomes
number
okay.
one, no,
That's your argument.
no,
Now we're starting to wake up.
no.
So now let's
Listen, no, it's not
point the
okay.
finger.
You're going to look at.
Man, all right, relax. Calm down a minute. Take
Look
a deep
at who
breath.
kills
You're
more.
yelling shit. Like, you ain't
you
let
was-
nobody else talk. That's
Because you was yelling.
You've been
Listen,
yelling for the last 20 minutes. You've been yelling.
you know why?
Let
This
somebody
is my
else talk.
fucking house. You goddamn right.
Fuck.
Listen, who kills more white people? White people or black people?
White people.
White.
Why?
Because they don't like each other.
Proximity. You are who you're around. You're gonna kill who you're around.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about black on black crime as if white on white crime is not the same? And Spanish on Spanish crime is not the same. Indian, you kill who you buy. So why are we talking about, black on, you don't care about black on black? Yes, we do. You're not going to hear it because that's not the news.
No one ever said that you don't care about it. What
People advocate for betterness. Is that a
my
word?
point? What
Betterness.
We already said fuck it with
There's-
this,
there-
so
you don't-
might as well just keep it going.
Fuck it. Betterness a word, nigga.
You're making shit up. My point is you don't hear about this shit nearly enough. It's not put out, and maybe that's a part of the system, right? But then that falls back into almost my train of thought,
Bro.
where, like you said, that you're always seeing, you see 3 articles about the crazy shit that white people do, right?
Yep.
All right, so I can't help but wonder if that follows the same format as the same way as the way we see about black on black crimes or black crimes in general in the media.
No.
Look.
Why?
Because a white person in the media gets painted as a nice person, no matter what their crime is.
He was a good boy. I don't know why he was like this.
A black
He snaps.
person automatically will, no matter what it is to do, a thug, a murderer, an asshole. Like they
Don't have a picture online of you smoking a blunt.
They paint a horrible picture. Here's a prime fucking example. Now that you said Nipsey Hussle, for the fact from his history, right? For the person that he was a gangbanger. He did some foul shit. He got locked up, but changed his life. He became a community advocate. He was fucking fighting for his hood.
Yeah.
You follow?
Yeah.
He dies. What's one of the headlines? Gangbanger died in front of his
Yup.
store. Or not even in front of his store, in front of a
Yup.
shopping mall.
Yup.
Why do you have to put a gangbanger?
Now,
Why
when you-
did you
when
not
you hear
put?
it- when one
Why
of
did
the-
you not? Hold on a second. Why did you not put community activist dies in front of his complex that he owns? Why
Right.
wasn't that? That's a much
It's-
better.
But when
that's
you-
a much
but when
better
you see
headline.
right in the fucking article. Yeah, that's the way it is.
It probably
And they do
that should be
in-
the headline.
in every- in
but
every-
when you see
every
the
article is
headline
placed.
of the white boy that shoots up X school this time, it's always shy boy, quiet boy, innocent boy, or smart boy. It's always they try to paint him in a different light. It's never the mugshot. It's always the angelic photo. Don't act. You know about media biases more than anybody, right? There is a media bias.
There
against
is a
black
media
people.
bias.
I've seen it. Oh,
Right, and so what you
listen, I've
so
seen
what's
it on both sides. That's
perpetuated
why I
out
don't
there?
buy into it. That's why I
So
get
what's
pissed off
what's
when I see it.
perpetuated about there about blacks being concerned about black on black crime? y'all need to do more research.
No.
Because
I know they are.
We
I'm just
do,
talking
but
about the
we're
people.
do-
Like I'm looking at Facebook, where all of a sudden they're worried about. Who said the same exact
I'ma
thing.
still watch a
I'm
fight
more afraid
video.
of fucking white people.
Watch
Meanwhile,
a fight video.
Yeah, I'm gonna still watch a fight video if two niggas is fighting. It's a fucking fight. If I can watch Pacquiao and fucking Mayweather fight, why can't I watch two niggas in the street fight?
those are
Why?
great videos.
I mean, hey, I can
love
watch a
those
nigga, but that doesn't mean anything to me. There's a difference between niggas fighting in their own hood or even killing each other
Yeah,
in
no,
their own
that's
neighborhood.
different.
Listen to me. Listen, because everybody, I try to cut y'all off. Y'all didn't let me. Now it's my turn.
Nigga, you
Nigga,
haven't
we
shut
tried to cut
up.
you
We tried
off,
to cut
yo.
you off.
I'm Thanos to this shit. Anyway,
No,
Dylan
nigga ain't
Roof-
snapping on me.
Dylan Roof walks into a fucking church and says, I'm here to kill black people and only black people. Well, of course that's gonna get, we're gonna get more coverage over that. Nobody's talking about black on black crime when a white person who's literally a self-proclaimed white supremacist goes into a black church and says, I'm here to kill blacks.
Yeah.
Like, what you think is supposed to happen? I'm not supposed to be just an uproar. All y'all supposed, whites, blacks, Spanish, everybody's supposed to be in an uproar for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the same way you shooting up a synagogue in Canada, right? Or was it the mosque or the synagogue? It was a synagogue in
Mosque in
Canada.
New Zealand and another synagogue was.
It was in Canada, right?
Yeah.
I'm not Jewish, but you shouldn't shoot no shit up. Like, that shit is racially charged.
No shit.
And usually, it comes full circle.
Right.
The ones that's doing it is white Christians. So I'm afraid of white men, and I'm telling you this as a black man that grew up in this country. I'm afraid of white men more than I'm afraid of any other fucking creature on this earth. I'm not lions, not tigers, not bears.
Oh my.
Right. I'm afraid of white men.
Yeah.
And that's not no joke.
Yo,
When
I
did
am
it- when did it-
terrified.
I'm curious when.
I'm agree with you 100%. I'm sorry, Faye, but I'm gonna cut you off because I know you got a
Yeah.
really good point. But I want to just mention this real quick. I agree with him 100% because Frank and I were actually talking about this on the ride up. He asked me a question. If
If you had a choice whether to have your wife go to a black man's house or a white man's house, which would you prefer?
right,
Black.
listen, right. That was my answer because initially I couldn't answer because I was like, damn, I don't know how I feel. I don't know what the other two dudes' intentions were, right? But then I asked myself the question, all right, who's gonna rape my wife first?
What?
Yeah.
Listen
Why
to
would
where I'm
you even
going.
think about that?
Listen to where I'm going.
Because
Listen
that's
to
what you
where I'm
worried
going.
about.
I'm more thinking about like
Because that's
who's
what you're
gonna
worried
try to-
about.
Who's gonna try to get it in?
Yeah,
Like, but not like.
I mean, essentially,
rape.
it's the
Well,
same
my-
thing.
like hit on him.
Nah,
my
somebody's
thought-
gonna take it because my
my
wife
thought
ain't
was-
giving it up.
Listen, my thought was the next question that was that who's gonna be the quickest one to rape my wife,
Yeah.
right? And once I asked myself that question, I said I'll be safer if my wife knocks on the black man's door than he does the white man, because the white man will be quicker to rape my wife because he knows damn well that he'll get away with it.
And what's funny is I actually felt the opposite.
Right? He felt the opposite.
Yeah, right. That's crazy
That
to
is
me.
very fucked up. That
Yo,
I
that-
don't think of you thinking that.
That's crazy to me.
I'm not even thinking
in
about
my
race, I'm
mind-
thinking about, like,
in my
I
mind,
don't know.
because I'm a black man and I know that how we look on the outside and how we're portrayed.
That's actually exactly
is
what
literally
I
is
said.
literally not how we are. Like, I'm a fucking
Right.
You're my best friend, dude. You know how I am. I am non-threatening, but I might look threatening. I'm 6'5" and
That's part of the problem because I also mentioned to him, like, if I
but
had
no one.
if I'm walking down the street, right, and on one side of the block is a group of white men in the street, and on the other side of the block is a group of black men in the street, I would feel safer walking along the side with the white men in the street.
Okay.
And
Nah, it depends on
And I was the opposite.
I,
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
I say
Yeah.
I say that though
disagree, but-
because of exactly what you said. Because on the exterior and what's portrayed and what my exposure has been, right? Black men are more threatening, and I have to make sure that I'm on a certain
Defensible.
a certain defense walking in that neighborhood. Where walking past the white man, I feel like in the, for lack of a better way of saying it, in the hierarchy of fear, I feel like they'd be more afraid of me. And it's probably because of my brownness. They'd be more afraid of my brownness. But that's how it processes.
So the
in my
darker
head,
you are,
though.
and it goes back
that's
to the
how it
darker you are, the
processes
more
in my
dangerous
head.
you are.
Wrong, because it depends on where you're at. Because you go some places freaking down south and you see a group of freaking white dudes all look meth headed up, I'll be a lot more afraid to go over there. It depends on the exterior and like how they present themselves.
And you know
Not
what's
so
funny?
much
I don't
black
disagree
or white.
with you. I wasn't like, because I tell you
It's not
what,
about
it'd
that.
probably be the exact opposite in Texas. Just because I feel like, oh, they'd be like, look at that Spanish boy, that Mexican. I'm like, I'm not even Mexican, but guess what?
You are today.
I am today.
You are today, light nigger.
Yeah.
Spanish speaking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you an exotic nigger, huh?
but that's what speaks. That's
Stereotypes.
what talks about the stereotypes. Whether you know it or not, that a person automatically labels. Everything is labeled, and until we start realizing that we do it, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And really, that's for me at least, that is the point that I wanted to get across in this. You know, like I said, everyone's gonna have stereotypes, whether it be black, white, brown, Chinese, Muslim, whatever, right? And majority of the stereotypes are wrong.
Yeah.
Majority of the stereotypes are wrong. Yes, there are certain things that will point to certain cultures or certain ethnicities being more prone to certain things. And yes, there is marginalization, there is improper treatment, all that. I don't think anybody here, right, is going to dispute that. But at the same time, a lot of the conflict that arises amongst us, I think we probably all can agree, is due to the stereotype and the image that we perceive or even create sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, because as much as John here is pointing fingers at white people, and I'm using that loose.
I know. No, I'm pointing fingers at white people. Hey, white people, I'm pointing fingers at y'all. Y'all responsible for a lot of shit.
At that same time, though, he has equal or probably more white friends.
Oh yeah,
than black.
I got mad. Shout out to all of because most of the people I grew up with was white.
No, for real though.
And honestly, those are my niggas. Like I'm very close with them, and I don't care because they know me. I talk this way. I blame white people for a lot of shit.
So he's sitting here blaming, but he also embraces it at the same time, right? Like I said, I'm afraid of walking across the street in certain neighborhoods. I really shouldn't even say afraid. I prefer not to.
I'm sorry. I just feel like the shoe's on the other foot. I'm just laughing because if there was a white dude that'll say, I grew up with black folks, but you know what? White power. How the fuck would y'all think about that? That's pretty much the same shit.
That's an interesting point. Like, I got mad friends, but
do we not understand
black people?
Do we not understand context to like anything? So when you hear a white person says white power in your mind, what does that say to you?
Negative connotation on myself.
What's the first thing that pops in your mind?
He's
KKK,
racist,
right?
Yeah.
Burning crosses and shit. If you hear me say black power, that's not what pops into your mind. So let's have some like be realistic. What you're saying, like that's realistic context.
Well, actually,
if I hear a white person come up to me and talk about white power, yes, nigga. If I hear a white person come up to me and tell me white power, I'm automatically going to think you're on some like
KKK
racist shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
As a white person, if you hear me say black power, you should not think that I'm on some racist shit because they're two different things.
That is exactly what I would think.
But you're not white.
You're absolutely, no,
you can't say that.
I've seen some
this is the thing about Spanish people that, no offense, and I know there's a bunch of, not all Spanish people are equal, but y'all niggas are so... No, listen to me.
Listen, whatever he's going to say right now, I agree with 100%.
Y'all niggas are so in the fucking middle, it makes me sick.
Yeah,
because listen, I'm gonna tell you why. Because whites, they look at you like they look at me, but yet for some reason, not y'all, but generally Spanish people look at us like y'all better. Like nigga, y'all just like us, and they look at you, they laugh at you, they treat you just like us.
Yes,
because your hair is straight, don't really mean nothing. You think that you're not one of us, but you are.
He's right, man.
I don't dispute that.
You play the middle too much. You got to pick a side.
I don't dispute that.
But
who says you have to pick a side? Why can't you be the conduit that brings that shit together?
Because they don't fuck with you. That's why we fuck with you.
I don't know. I fuck with
Pick a side.
Nah.
Pick a side.
My
white people you think fuck with you, fuck with you to a little bit. You go ahead and get one of their daughters pregnant and see how fast they talking about, I want my daughter having babies with a Mexican. Watch.
Yo,
You're laughing.
My father.
Listen,
I'm dead ass serious.
I've had a couple that weren't fans of me because off the jump they didn't like the way I look.
Right.
But guess what? After that,
It's more than them that think that about
but
you.
But it's the initial thing. It's that initial
Alright.
no, because even my folks were like, even my pops in the beginning was
Them
just
niggas,
like,
them
I'd
niggas will sell
rather
you.
you date your
Them
own
niggas
kind.
will sell you if they could.
But guess what? I
this
still
is where,
think
this is where like
Y'all play
again,
the middle too much as a
side with
culture.
Fabian. Maybe as a but me
Not individually.
individually, I'll tell you, I am in the middle because you know what? I have this mentality like
That got it so good.
People are always gonna beat me down.
But you
and
brown with straight hair, nigga. Like you
Nah.
got it so fucking good.
Nah, but regardless of how my whole thing is, regardless of how I'm treated, like I'm going to try to be that difference. I refuse to give into that hate, and that and you know that might sound ignorant. It does even to myself, but I can't see myself let myself be consumed and give in to that hatred, that negativity, because you know it's
Are
not
you a Yankees fan?
it's not gonna do
Are you a
anything.
Yankees fan?
Yeah.
Or do you fuck with the Red Sox?
I prefer not to.
All right. Simple as that. It's not that I don't drive I don't have a hatred. Not even the Red Sox, because that's a mortal enemy. The Mets, right? The Mets. You're not a Mets fan, but it's like you don't really fuck with them. Like you it's in New York, and it's like you're a human being. All right, you okay, but I don't really fuck with that other side. Like you, the other side. I don't fuck with the Mets, which is the other side. But I have reasons because through how I've seen certain people who look like me get treated. Right, I have a problem with that.
Right, but that you're going based off your experience, and you're not wrong for that. And that's. Again, that's a real.
It's
valid
kind of your
point.
experience too. You just taking it differently.
Yo.
than I am.
No,
'Cause
we've
they-
had.
They've treated you similar.
100%.
You just taking it differently.
You take the issue of us getting pulled out the car. Like that, we both went through the same exact experience.
You still get followed through stores?
I don't know. I really
Yeah,
don't
I
pay
have.
attention.
I do.
I have.
To this day. They say,
Yep.
dude, I walk around with all these new clothes on, all this shit, all this fucking fly shit. Niggas still, they follow me.
Did you just pat yourself on the back?
No,
suddenly?
no, I'm not. I'm making a point that no matter what.
I would have turned around and be like, yeah,
No.
I stole this.
No,
Am I
no,
stealing
no.
you too, bitch?
Yeah, but I'm not.
What's up?
Yeah,
Just the
you
fucking-
can do that, but in real life, I am not trying to have the police in my life doing shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm
nigga.
terrified. Like y'all make light of things that I could never even
Yeah,
jokingly
sure.
do.
Yeah.
This is my point. The things, you fucking follow me. I would never be stupid enough to do that because I'm not getting locked up tonight.
Or die.
I'm not going to step on no white person's eggshells because I'm afraid of you. Because I know, listen,
You know
I've watched
you know
white,
the power.
I've watched white women call the cops on little kids for selling lemonade. I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay? You think me, I'm going to take a chance with my life? They run this shit, bro. They run it.
It's
Yeah, so
I ain't
listen,
disagreeing.
I'm going to shit on them from the background and live my life and hope that they don't get me. That's what you got to do because this
Yeah.
is not your land.
No,
this is
listen,
not created for
I know,
you.
but they're perpetuating that idea that
It's
you gotta
not
live in fear.
perpetual. But listen, you go ahead
I'm
and
telling
do
you.
you go ahead and do anything to a
Bro, you
white
ain't
woman.
gonna have a voice.
You
on
I've
don't
done
do
things.
anything to a white woman right now.
Shit, I've been into confrontation before and everything like that. Cops have sided with me. It's happened.
You
What are
do
talking
something.
about?
You touch a white woman. You touch a white
I'm not
woman.
gonna why would I touch anyone?
Exactly.
I mean, I've touched them, but now like I'm hiding out the way.
Listen, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what
You
you
go
mean.
ahead and do something sideways to a white woman to see what happens to you.
Listen, you know what? We know what I can tell you. I've been pulled over by white cops. I've
Let go. Many
I've
times.
acted accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Not done
I've
any.
acted accordingly too, and I mean,
but this ain't about. This is my story.
you
right
got
now.
straight hair, and it's not a joke. I'm not
the
joking.
cop cared about
You
my
do
hair.
not look
Yes.
like me. You
The
don't
cop-
look like me.
The cop cared about my hair. I actually
My
had a-
nigga,
I had
yes.
it fitted on.
Oh,
I had
bro.
it fitted on. He didn't see my hair.
He look. I
He
can
didn't-
tell
he
you
didn't-
Spanish. Him, I would have questions, but I can still kind of tell he's Spanish too. You, there's no question about you. I'm going to treat
Actually,
you
people
differently.
think I'm Muslim.
They don't think you black.
Yeah.
Word, especially if I left the.
You
if I
look
left
like a
my
baka
facial hair,
laka
bro.
daka. You don't look like a nigga. You don't look like me. And I don't even look like that much nigga. I got freaking hazel
Nah,
eyes.
You look like nigga, bro.
No, man. No, nigga, it's my house. So anyway,
John's wife's telling him to shut
yeah,
up.
I shut for no one. Carl? Anyway, you don't
My
look
mans.
like me, so you get treated differently.
I'm not gonna dispute with you that I get treated different, but I also act differently. Is my point? Like for instance, my point was before you jumped all up in my
Well, you
shit
can have your point. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette.
was that I got pulled over, turned my car off, put my keys up. Hi, officer. What's going on? You know why I pulled you over? You were speeding. No, I didn't. My bad. Okay, don't do it again. He let me go. It was simple as that.
Yeah, but that
So
won't
what makes
happen
you
to
think
a
that's
black
not-
person,
Nah,
bro.
screw you, pig.
So let me
You
know.
can't tell me what to do.
So
At the-
I would-
at-
y'all know me.
My-
Am
my
I stupid enough to
argument-
do that?
Of course not.
So even
Of
if I
course
do,
not.
if I do what you do, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you're acting as if we have some kind of different demeanor when we interact with cops. I'm probably nicer than you are. I'm willing to suck this man's penis because I don't want to fucking die.
Pause, nigga.
Pause. Not
Damn.
literally, not literally, but I'm talking about kissing so much ass and saying so much yes sir, no sir that I am terrified.
That
Like,
might be you, but that is not all black people. I have seen
But no,
I have
no.
seen on a cultural side the black community up in an
I don't know what that
uproar.
black man went through. I don't know how much they've been fucking with him throughout the day. I don't. This happened to
So,
my
all
brother.
right, so he gets the benefit of the doubt.
No,
you don't
my
know what,
brother-
You don't know what the cop went through.
my
You don't-
brother-
you don't-
no, listen.
You don't know what. Wait, no, hold up. Because you don't know what the cop went through. You don't know the
Man,
situation.
fuck that cop.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, but
exactly my point. Fuck the
a
cop.
few years
But
ago,
let's give the
I'm
benefit
talking
of
to
the doubt
Jonah.
to the person, to,
Listen,
to the guy
a
that's
few
being
years
arrested.
ago, upstate, a few years ago,
Let's give him the benefit
my
of the
oldest
doubt. I don't
brother,
make no damn sense.
my oldest brother,
No
a
fucking
few years ago,
sense,
my
bro.
oldest brother got pulled over in a 5-mile radius 4 times within an hour. 4 times within 1 hour by 4 different cops in a 5-mile radius. The last time he flipped on him and cursed him out, why the fuck y'all following me? What the fuck am I doing to y'all? The cop at that point just let him go because he knew. But they was fucking with him all day. They didn't give him not one ticket, 4 pullovers in a matter of an hour and a half. Not one ticket. Up here in Orange County.
Yo,
Orange County,
Frank,
New York.
Frank,
That's what he's talking about.
I get your point. I do understand where you're coming from in your stance and your argument, but it ain't the case, bro. Every time a cop pulls over a black man, it's literally always because he's black. So instantly,
Nah, man, fuck that. Nah, get out of here.
It's true.
You're not gonna hit me with an absolute every time a black man gets pulled over that is because he's black. Fuck out of here with that.
95 or 99% of the time,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So why?
That quite honestly is just a ridiculous
let me
statement to say.
let me tell you something. You and John get pulled over. The cop is gonna probably give you the ticket or whatever the case may be. John is gonna get asked to get out of the car. I need to search his shit. But why? Why? Why does a black man have to get treated that way?
I honestly, they don't. They shouldn't. I'm not
and
saying that.
there's-
But a person's not gonna sit here and tell me that, oh, I don't know what the black man went through and why he was acting a certain way on one side, and then go fuck the cop and whatever he's experienced on the other side. That's talking out 2 sides of your mouth. You can't have it both ways, because you know what? Both people have certain experiences that they both went through that are gonna cause them to react a certain way.
One of those motherfuckers get paid.
What? And?
One is a fucking. I don't
Say it,
care.
say it.
I don't care.
You got your cigarette in
Shush.
here. Ooh, I'm
I don't
telling.
care, nigga. This is my house. This is the
I'm
third time I had to say that this
telling.
time. A paid professional is supposed to be differently. I'm selling computers at Best Buy. If I'm having a bad day, right? If I'm having a fucked up customer, the one before should not reflect on the one after. Fuck that cop or whatever he's going through. He's a fucking pro. As a citizen, if I get harassed,
I don't agree.
yeah, well then don't take the job. Then you're not built for it.
Maybe,
It's public service. Period.
maybe not. Because
It makes sense, man. Listen,
It's
the
not a
cop,
cop-out.
yeah, but the cop, if he's having a fucked up day, he should not be.
I'm not talking
treating
about
you
a
some
fucked
kind
up
of
day.
way.
I'm talking about fucked up experiences. When as a cop, right? You're put on a beat. You're exposed to shit day in, day out. You're responding to shit nonstop, right? And you're witnessing shit go down, right? You're not seeing it on the news like we are. You're not seeing the tidbits. You're not getting the fucking cliff notes,
Right.
You're hit with that every day,
All right.
right? So, but put it this way. One, he's been affected, right,
Yes.
by whatever white people have fucked him up,
Yep.
right? Whatever fucked up situations he's been in. He's
Yeah.
entitled to feel how he wants because that's been his experience,
Right.
correct? Now, a cop is still human.
Yep.
They're still gonna go through shit and be affected by shit the same way any regular human would. Or should they be held to a higher standard? Absolutely. I'm not gonna discount that.
Yes.
You should. Yes, this is your job. You need to try to put a certain form of decorum to the situation.
Yeah.
But you know what? Your experience, like just like anybody's, gonna play a factor in how you react and how you act.
But here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. Because if you put if you put cops, it doesn't matter white or black. If you put a cop in a white hood who's doing crazy shit, that cop is not gonna go to the next white person who he pulls over and feel threatened, because based on his experience, based on what
nor
he's
would
seen,
a black cop.
a black cop. This is how fucked up the black people are.
Yup.
A black cop and a white cop, you put them on a beat wherever in the hood, in a black hood, and they're constantly seeing black people in this hood fucking each other up, killing each other, and they're seeing dead bodies all over the place. The both black and the white person are gonna go treat any black person they see, because their psyche is so fucked up after seeing so many of those same black bodies getting dropped. They're gonna treat every single black person that they come across as a threat, and they're gonna feel some kind of way automatically when they come across a black person.
So doesn't that speak more about the community than about the cop?
Yes.
What's the difference between
No.
what's the difference between the white community that's the same exact as the black community, and why is the cop treating the next white person they see in that same community?
These white communities
with
have
respect,
bodies and
with
fights
respect,
too.
I'm not gonna disagree with
and
that.
they won't the black person.
All right, so like what we were referring to earlier about proportion, right?
Yes.
That black people are 12% of the population, but 26% of them are responsible for taking food stamps, right? That's what we were talking about earlier. Proportion, right? So if you have this vast proportion of the white population, right? Even if there's more incidences, relatively it's less.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
So now if you have a condensed population of the black community, yet you have more crime. I'm just going to call it crime. I'm not calling it black on black or anything like that, right? And as the cop in that area, you're witnessing that.
Yes.
More than you're witnessing the white crimes. So aren't you
listen.
going to react relatively to it?
Listen, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. What I'm saying is crime in a predominantly white area. Same crimes, same killings, same amount of killings here, same amount of killings in the black people in the black neighborhood, right? Same numbers of killing, same numbers of thefts, same numbers of rapes,
All crime,
same numbers, everything.
The treatment,
right? the white or black
The
cop,
treatment would be different.
This
The treatment would be different.
That's the point.
That is my point.
But I'm not disagreeing with that. But the other side of that I will argue is that the reaction would be different also.
But no, it would not be.
Yeah.
Check this.
No, it won't.
The reaction from the
Frank.
The reaction from the individuals involved would be different.
No, they will not, Frank.
John
no,
is
they
my
won't.
perfect example. His automatic reaction is apprehension. And I'm not saying he's wrong for that, but his automatic reaction is apprehension. His automatic
Frank,
reaction is fear.
Listen,
so
but you
he's
have to
not alone in that.
But you need to understand where that fear comes
I
from.
understand where it comes from. That's my point. But until that is changed, until that mentality,
So who's responsible for the change?
That's everybody.
Everybody's
Everybody's responsible for the change.
That'll agree with. But listen,
But the thing is, just because you try to change and you don't get the reaction that you want doesn't mean that you stop trying to change. If you want change, be the change. Point blank and simple.
I agree.
Continuous.
Listen.
You don't give up on that.
Listen.
You keep pushing to have that
Sounds
change.
like an inspirational
I agree.
Facebook
Listen.
quote, but it doesn't sound realistic.
It is realistic. I do that shit every day.
That's
bro.
you because
That is
of
my
the environment
everyday
that
so
you came
so that it's
from,
realistic.
where you
So that
came,
it's
where you
realistic.
come from, and the
Where I
things that
came
you're
from.
able to.
That is me.
All right,
That
listen.
is me.
And how you were raised and the values that you was raised. Maybe
Listen.
somebody didn't have as fortunate as the
John.
parents as you did to be raised with the same values and
John.
qualities that you, at the same thought process.
Wait.
Not everybody the same, so it's easy to look
It's
across the aisle and
true.
say that that person can do what I do, but that's not always the case.
No, but that doesn't. I know
No,
what you mean.
that's
The
a
upbringing
choice.
is a big
You're right.
choice.
It's
But
not always a
but
choice
you're-
either.
You can get enlightened in
John,
uproar.
he's right. I don't mean Frank is right. We have to be
I
the
agree.
change. We do, and it's not a change just here and there. It has to be a consistent change. Frank, you are right. However, the cop,
The onus
who's
is the
been-
ones in power.
The cop who is in those beats for the white neighborhoods is going to treat every single white person the same, regardless of what his experience is. But if he goes into the black neighborhood and experiences the same shit he experienced in the white neighborhood, he's going to treat every black person as if they're a threat. They won't do that to the white person.
No, I've seen.
That's how we got
you know
pulled
what?
out of a car.
I
They won't do
I-
that.
Because
to
we
the
were
white
a
no,
person.
I
threat
agree that
because
to a
of our
certain degree,
skin.
but I've
It
seen
was. It wa-
a
I'm not- I'm-
group of
again,
white
I'm
kids
That's
get
what-
pulled over
that's the
and a
point.
cop
But
all
that
of a
goes to
sudden
my
like this
point.
on
We
his
went
car.
through the same
Just
shit
because
and
they
react
looked
to
a
it
little young and
differently.
the
I
kid
kept
was tatted
going through
up.
it.
He was white.
That wasn't the end for
It
me.
doesn't matter.
That
because
was the
it's how
beginning.
you look and
That happened
present
again
yourself and have
when I
certain
first
ideas.
moved back up here.
You
But
have-
that
you
shouldn't,
have-
but
you-
that
you-
shouldn't be the threat. The way you look and present
No,
yourself shouldn't be the reason
because
why you're threatened.
you have certain impoverished white areas that the cops are on guard, and that's all they know. They don't even probably see black people. There's some places in the south.
And-
and you
and-
probably-
but-
you
but
probably-
Yeah,
that's-
no,
and
I've been
they're
to those
fucked up.
places.
And,
But
and,
see,
and,
but
and
then-
they
but
and they
that's-
walk up to the cars
It's
with
just
guns
trailer parks.
But you-
with their hands on their
listen.
guns, and it's all white folks.
You want to know something?
That's true.
And that's still, then I will still say that to John's point, you should have never took that fucking job.
No,
Because
no,
you
no.
know what? You shouldn't be scared of not a fucking soul.
No, it's not.
You have the fucking power.
No, no,
you have the
it's-
gun in your
it's
hand.
not about
who
being
can
scared.
legally kill
No,
somebody.
I know, but it's not about being scared. It's about being
the
cautious.
gun ain't always the power,
It's
bro.
about being cautious.
The
of
gun
your-
is the
the
power.
gun is the power.
gun ain't the
No,
Man,
you're
listen.
still a human being. You can still die. That person.
If
can
we
stop
all
that
was,
person
if
can
we
stop
all
you,
had
right?
legal
You're still
the same
susceptible. You
amount
ain't
of carry
Superman.
Right, but
power
who's
as
gonna
cops,
win? Who's gonna win in a
nobody would
gunfight?
listen to them.
Them boys.
Oh,
who's
I
gonna
agree
win
with
in
you
a
100%.
gunfight?
So the
person who
power
wins
is
the
the
life
gun.
for the
Yeah, no,
No,
but the
you
reason a
actually
cop
you'd be
does that is
surprised
because they
if
don't
they're
know
close
what
enough.
you have.
That's why they got a 20-foot rule.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
get
No,
it.
I'm not-
That's
I'm not
the
getting
reason
into
that
that.
everybody's
I'm
skilled
not
like
getting
that.
into that.
They don't know.
Yeah,
now
but-
some abuse it. Some abuse it. I'm answering what you said. Cops walk up holding their gun and ready.
I seen it
right?
up here. That a group of white
because
kids
they
hanging
don't
out.
know because
just
the
because the kid was
situation
tatted up and young.
isn't-
I seen it.
As a mechanic right now in New York State, you're not. It's always been a law. You're not supposed to have tints on your car
Yes.
that are darker than 30. They have to allow 70% of light to pass through.
Yes.
Right. Always been a law. Once all that it was done at the same time as the Black Lives Matter movement and all that. When cops were getting run up on and shot.
Yes.
Sitting in the car having a donut, probably whatever.
Right.
Right. When shit like that started going down, New York State made it a law that for your state inspections, making it my responsibility now, and I hate every fucking second of it, that I have to fail cars that have tints on the car. Why? Because they want to protect the cops, and the cops weren't enforcing it before. Yet, I still have police officers who will come to me asking me to pass their inspections because they're afraid that whoever they just locked up is going to see them leaving work and follow them home. So they want their tints to block off the car.
So why should they get the pass?
They should.
Why should you
And
take
they
that
don't.
fucking job?
They should.
You worried about getting shot up? Quit.
And I applaud you for that.
Quit.
For denying it because
Quit.
somebody
Yeah,
else
but
will
quit.
go.
Nope.
gotta do that.
Somebody else
Somebody's
will
gotta
go
do
right
that
up the
tough
street and
job.
pass
No,
them.
then it's not you.
easy.
If somebody has to do the tough job, it's not you. I'm not a cop.
but-
I was not built for combat. That's why I would never enlist. I would never go to no
I wish I
police
did.
I didn't.
I do.
You know why?
Yeah, so do I.
Because I don't
So do
like
I.
combat. I don't like fighting. I don't like guns. I'm not made for it. The fuck I look like being a cop? I'm physically able.
No. There's a bigger part to being a cop than just being okay.
I used to want to be a cop to
No,
do the right thing, to
exactly.
be the hero.
Some people just
but
doing that
now,
to-
but I am not willing to risk my life. I'm not willing to put people away for
That's-
dumb shit.
that's fine,
I'm
but
not
that's
willing
you.
to do any of that.
Yeah.
Some people are, some people aren't. So if you have a problem with the job, you have a problem with the risk, you don't want to get shot while having a donut. Rest in peace to those cops because it's not fair. But that's the risk you take.
Yes, but you
Don't be a cop.
But what
I
I'm
don't
saying
feel
is
sympathy
that
for an
it's okay to
occupation.
try to do the right thing. Listen, there's people do.
You get
you
shot.
have- No, check
no,
this
you
out.
can't-
You
You
get
gotta
shot.
have to
You get
feel-
electrocuted. You get electrocuted at your job. You my nigga. I love you. I'm gonna be sad because you got hurt, but I'm not gonna feel bad, nigga, because that's the job you took.
Correct.
You work for
And-
like
and-
electricity.
And guess what? I did it. I did it for free money.
I
Now there's other people.
understand what
Check
he's
this out.
saying. It just sounds really
No,
fucked
no,
up. But I do
but
understand
here's
what
the
he's
reverse.
saying.
Let's take the cop out of the picture. There's people doing humanitarian things across the world, right? Helping people out, right?
Yep.
And they're at risk for their lives. They're trying to help people, and they're getting killed or getting kidnapped for hostages because
Prayers
they got
up.
money. And they
Prayers
don't have a
up.
gun.
Don't
They're
take
just
the
doing
job.
right
John's
thing.
point of
They're
it,
trying to do the right thing.
but that's a risk of the job.
Some people are
I
able.
understand it's risky, but sometimes
Some
I
people can do it.
understand
Some cops are good. Some
Yes.
cops can police hoods and not profile everybody. Some cops don't.
what's that
can police
dance that
black,
they should- that
but
the
not
cop
all
got
cops
famous
can,
on?
and majority of them can't.
Yeah, I
The
you know
wobble,
what?
the
And I
wobble.
agree
They
with
show
you
the cop
that
in
it's
the
not
hood dancing.
right
Oh
to
yeah.
profile, but it's nothing wrong with being smart and have common sense and be cautious. Like I said, you could
Bunch of
unfortunately
niggas with guns
somebody
afraid of people. Like, it's
a white
amazing.
cop in a black neighborhood,
Like the largest legal gang in the world. Everybody, they are armed like a
Police
fucking.
enforcement. It's
You're
cops.
armed. You're armed like an army, and you're afraid.
Afraid of
I
people.
don't understand it. I watched what went on in
Alright.
Ferguson a few years ago. How they went in with all them armored tanks, all them tear gases, all them fucking shields, all of them masks, all them helmets, and y'all talking about y'all scared of citizens? Really? Whatever guns they got in the neighborhood don't compare to what you got in that department, bruh. What the fuck you scared of? You scared, don't take the job, and your fear gets people killed.
The fear does get people killed.
Yes.
I
Don't
don't
then don't
disagree.
be a cop. I'm telling this to
Yeah, if you
everybody
can't-
out there
yeah.
listening.
No, but
If
fear
you
is
are
fear is a
afraid,
natural reaction.
no,
Come on,
no,
man.
but not everybody is built for it. I feel like if you don't
That's
have
I think that's his
I
point.
feel like
he's saying the reaction of the
It's-
fear and controlling your shit.
right, and
Cops should
Which
be
I
trained. Cops
agree,
should be
but-
trained to be able to handle that fear and not let it get the best of them.
All right, so but let me just put this out there though. How do you know if you're capable of handling it until you're put in those situations?
training.
It's no, there,
It's
there's
always-
no,
you can only do so much
man.
once you're
Listen,
into
that's like running a racetrack by yourself, and then all of a sudden going into the race, and you got everybody around you. And you
Dude,
don't know what the fuck to do.
You're no.
There's
Listen
a-
to me. You
there's
know if you're
only-
afraid of going to black neighborhoods way before you become a cop. You know if you're afraid of black people way
Yeah.
before you
And-
decided to sign up.
And let's say you're not. Let's say initially you're not afraid of that stuff. You go through the academy, or fine. You're put on a beat that's in a hostile neighborhood, and you learn things that you did not know before.
Correct.
If you
that
are-
creates a certain amount of
If
fear.
all right,
And I'm
then
not-
quit or go to another department. It's not that hard.
It is actually. It's not always
Why?
that easy to switch.
So I'm gonna be.
departments. Like,
I'm
you can't
afraid.
just be
I'm
like, oh,
afraid of going.
this
I'm
black
afraid of
person.
going. I'm afraid of going to work every day because this is my beat. I'm afraid of going to work every day. So I'm going to risk my life, put myself other people's lives in danger because of my fear, right? Or for a check because this is what I want to do. No, nigga, become
I'm
an
not
ID.
saying it's right.
Go
I'm
go
not-
get an
I'm not
ID.
saying
Yeah,
it's
well,
right.
these are the people that you depend on for your life. So when you sit here telling me that the cop's job is hard and you don't know what he's been through, well, sir, I know if that my job is overwhelming me and stressing me, I'm gonna quit my regular ass job. Like you should quit your regular ass job because that's all it is a fucking regular ass job. Leave it for the tough ones that can fucking do it. If you can't handle being a cop, if you can't handle policing the neighborhoods that you're supposed to be policing, fucking quit. You don't deserve the badge. Okay? You don't deserve the badge. There's no excuse. Black people kill black people, that's right. But if you can't go fix that problem as an officer of the peace, you don't need to be there. Period. I don't want to hear about your hard day. Everybody got hard days. Yours is your profession, that's your choice. If your choice is the right one and you can do it well, then kudos to you because there's a lot of good cops out there that know how to police their rough neighborhoods. But there's a lot of pussies that come from upstate, wherever, or come from rural, wherever, and they have a fucking power trip. They want to go to these hoods, right? And police these people when they want to bully them. That's when you get shot, sir. When you don't know that you don't know how to actually be a police officer. You just know you're on a power trip. And those are the ones I'm talking about. Not all police are bad, right? But they're the ones that are on power trip are the ones that make it look bad. Or the ones that
Right.
that are killing people. The
Right.
ones if you're afraid, don't take the job.
And I have to agree with that. The one thing I do have to differentiate too, because I think we were all talking about the same thing, and we might want to freaking end it on that. Is the difference between having fear and then being cautious. We tend to mix the two. I don't tend to have fear when I go to certain places, but like you said, when I go to the fucking movie theater, yeah, maybe I might carry there because I know of what happened in the past. I'm being cautious. I mean, now if I'm looking at everybody like, oh, ready to pop off, that's fear.
Right.
But I'm still being cautious and looking around, being whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. Almost profiling in a way, but just you never know because you've seen that before in the past.
Yeah, but
So
I
we
just
got to
think that
differentiate between the idea of being scared and reacting on those emotions and somebody just being cautious.
that
yeah, you got a
readies
gun
you,
in the car
that just
because
readies you to even you bringing your gun to a theater. That's mentally you don't think so, but that's already putting that fucking thing in your brain. Like if this happens, I'm ready to kill, even ahead of time. That's not a reactionary thing. That's to me that's premeditated. bruh.
That's actually a defense because I forget it's there. Only time I actually click in is if I hear pop pop. Oh shit! Now I remember it's time I hit.
I think at,
Or if I'm in a mall, I'm in a public place because that's where all these fucking shootings happen.
I
You
think
know
at,
what I mean?
at the end of the day,
So-
people need to really kind of I don't know. Soul search is the right way to put it, but reflect.
That's a good one.
You know, I think you got to reflect on on the stereotypes that you hold, and actually be truthful to the ones that you do, and be open and honest with yourselves, and realize like, all right, yeah, I may think this way, it may not be right, and really give other people, other cultures, other races, a chance. It doesn't mean that you negate or you let go of what you might feel or think, but maybe you reevaluate it and give yourself the opportunity to change. Because until people start communicating and really trying to get by those stereotypes, nothing's going to change. This conversation helps things to change. It gives a different perspective, right? It may open things that we didn't think about, and hopefully maybe our listeners didn't think about. It reveals truths.
Yeah.
You know, because we've all gone through different things, and our approaches clearly are different on it, but that doesn't mean we can't learn from each other. And that's kind of, I think, ultimately really the point. Start communicating with each other, right? Start trying to expand your viewpoints. Don't be afraid to have the hostile conversation, because just because it's a hostile conversation doesn't mean it can't be an enlightening one.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you can't end up with some kind of gain from it. You know, we all gotta get through this life. We all gotta get through this world, you know, day by day, the same. And, you know, maybe to John's point, maybe we gotta eliminate some of that fear that we hold on to, which is largely where some of these stereotypes lie.
Right.
Yep.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't know, fellas. You guys got anything else to add?
No,
It got a little hot.
that's cool.
No,
No,
Make
this
love.
this was a hot one. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really was.
I don't know about y'all. I enjoyed it though. I like it.
I enjoyed it.
I like it. The
It
fire.
was good.
I
Make
don't think
love,
John's
not
gonna
war.
have. I don't think John's gonna have a voice tomorrow. But you
I'll be
know,
fine. I grew up yelling.
I feel like we gotta get you an inhaler. You were losing breath.
It's all right. It's because I smoke. It's all right. I grew up yelling in my house.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm Frank here with John,
Yeah.
Jonah,
What up?
Fabian.
Oh yeah.
You can catch us at A5 Podcast on Instagram and on Facebook. You can hear us on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and Google Play. Again, thank you for tuning in. Remember, we are all alphas at something.